Hey everybody, welcome back. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to look at some core stabilizing exercises, starting from our hands and knees in what's called a 4-point position. We'll advance to some variations of this, exploring what it feels like when we change from 4 points to 3, from being front facing to side facing. So some great core work as well as shoulder girdle stability, hips, and good breathing as always. So let's start on the hands and the knees. 4 points, beginning with the hands spread, so the fingers are wide and the knees hip width apart. Now just a piece about this, if you are someone with wrist challenges, if it feels tight in your wrists to be on your hands, then a couple of things you can do. Number one, you can position your hands slightly ahead of your shoulders so there's less angle at the wrist joint when you're in this 4-point position. The other thing that you can do is roll your mat up a little bit to create an elevated surface so that by placing the heels of your hands on that elevated surface, you automatically take out the angle of the wrist. That's okay if you're not moving your hands, but as soon as you want to start moving your hands off of your raised surface, it might be difficult to maintain it. So you can explore either of those and see what works best for you. Okay, so coming on to that first position, as I said, hands can be slightly farther ahead of your shoulders. Stabilize the shoulders down the back, find a nice length to your spine, and reach out through the top of your head. So pretend you're getting as long and as skinny as you can in this position. So I'm drawing my abdomen in, I'm lengthening my spine in both directions, and I want to feel like I can support myself right from the center line of my spinal alignment. Now from here, I'm going to breathe a nice deep breath in through the nose. And on the exhale, just hug my shoulders back. Feel the core connect. And do that again. Just breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. One more time. Take a full breath in and a nice full breath out. Now starting to extend opposite arm and leg on your next breath, reaching through those 2 points. Inhale once you're there, and exhale to return hand and knee back under. Take a breath, restabilize the shoulders, and then start again. So you give yourself the opportunity to be steady and set before you move. And then bring those down. So along this train track idea, moving smoothly, extending arm and opposite leg, staying really lifted in the center. So we're not collapsing downward with gravity. We're pushing the floor away, we're holding the core in. And then the other part of this is the alignment of the leg and arm. See if you can feel the knee running straight back under the hip and the hand coming into the same position from where it left. So sometimes we have a tendency to round the leg into position or to round the arm into position. Try to find that linear path that just pulls them straight back to where they started. Exhaling out. Inhaling, return. One more time each side. Exhaling out. Inhaling, return. And last one, exhaling out. Inhaling, return. From there, let's take a little pause. You can open the knees, stretch the hips back, allow the forehead to come down. Take a few deep breaths here. See if you can really breathe into the sides of the ribs, into your back spine as well. Sense that opening through the back body with the breath. and then we'll ripple up and we'll come on to our side. Now the next movement is from the side position called side plank. Now there's a couple of variations, there's multiple variations of side plank, but for us today, we're going to do it with the elbow bent on the floor and the shoulder. It's important that we set it also into the right position. So if you're collapsing into the shoulder and the shoulder head is pushed forward, that's going to cause a lot of issues and an uncomfortable position. So we want to lift away from the mat. We want to pull up from the ribs. We want to lengthen that idea of where the collarbone to shoulder are. And then the shoulder itself is set slightly back. Okay, so we're lengthened and the shoulder is back. And you'll feel your side obliques automatically pulling in to connect more into this. Good. Now this side plank variation is going to have us lifting the hips, and we've done this in our side bend, but if we just lift our hips from the floor and find ourselves in this position, we don't have to go farther than that. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And again, deep breath in and a deep breath out. One more time. Feel that underneath side waist continuing to pull up. Good, and then let the hips come down. Awesome. Let's do that to our second side. So our side bend that we have practiced before was on the hand. This is on the forearm. So a little different setup. Again, shoulder is all about being able to connect that into the right place so that it's feeling elongated across the chest. It's feeling open in the underneath side of the armpit. We're not sinking into that. And the shoulder itself is pulled back. My core is already turned on. And then when I press into that arm and into that bottom knee, I want to come up and find this side body strength to hold me in this shape. Good. Breathe a couple deep breaths. 2 more. Last time. Good. And then take the hips down. Awesome. Now if we come into that from a front position, we're going to come all the way down onto the tummy. So we'll start in our push-up. We'll hold our plank for 3 breaths here. Push that floor away. Hold your deep core in. Take a breath. Exhale it out. Strong toned legs. Take a breath. Think of pubic bone to belly button. One more time. Take a breath. Now you can lower your knees if you wish, or from your toes, slowly down to the mat. From your knees or your toes, all the way down to the floor. Good. From here, we'll separate the feet a little bit. And we're going to come into our swimming exercise with the hands overhead and the legs slightly extended. So this one we've also practiced from our hands and knees. Today, we're going to be bringing opposite arm and leg up from the floor here. So exhaling as you lift, opposite arm and leg, exhaling to lift. You can keep the head down to start. You can also rotate the thumbs so that as you lift, the thumb is turned up. That's a nice variation to give the shoulder a little more space. You can also lift the head and chest so that we can maintain the head and chest lifted, or you can bring it up on every repetition. So what is your choice? Head staying down. That's going to be the more difficult in many cases. Head coming up in each repetition, or head staying up, maintaining that extension through the chest, through the upper back, as we extend arm and opposite leg. So we did this from our 4 points. How does it feel now from the belly? Okay, draw the core in, stay nice and centered. Find that feeling of reaching, of lengthening. 3 more. Smooth and slow. 1 more time. Then take a breath in and release down. You can bend the elbows now, roll your shoulders back, lift your heart and chest up, and press back into our shell stretch. We'll bring our hands in a little closer, round the spine a little more fully so you have that sense of being in a shell. Breathe across the low back, breathe across the back ribs. And enjoy that nice full breath. One more time. And then roll up to releasing. Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you experienced something good there. It's all good, as I believe, but some of these moves will feel easier and more challenging than others. So often it is the case that that which feels the most challenging is the ones we need to practice. But do them mindfully. Don't push into pain. Be connected to the movement and the breath, and work through a range that feels comfortable, although perhaps challenging. That's a good place to be working within. Okay, if you've got any questions, leave me a comment. I'll be happy to answer, and let me know how you're enjoying these videos or anything else you're looking for so I can create them after this series is over and we start some new classes together. Thank you so much. Bye for now.